What's going on, Blerd, Nerds, and everybody in between? It's your boy Wyatt, the sensei of the Syndicate, here with another episode of With the BS. And today we are having a great conversation. We've been doing a series of like top tens when it comes to like 90s movies and 90s television shows. We had some great fun with that one. So we're going to try to go ahead and do it again with video game movies. So yeah, but of course I'm not by myself again. The left hand of the syndicate. KB, how you doing today?
And I'm chilling. It's been a pretty good day, and I have been looking forward to this episode so I can defend my movie choices.
No,
Y'all be trying to play me.
Well, to be honest, Super Mario Brothers sucks. So
Again, it is a great bad movie, and I feel like y'all don't give it the proper credit. I have it on DVD. It's one of the first DVDs I bought for myself.
See, so that makes sense. So you're emotionally invested in that one.
Oh no, it was one of my favorites before I bought it. I bought it because it was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you got it so that you could be like, oh, okay. But yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? I have some bad taste in movies too, but you know what I mean? It's justified because they have sentimental reasons for me. So yeah. So what we're gonna go ahead and do? We're gonna talk about just what kind of movies. Do you have like a top 10 list for yourself on this one?
I don't, because again, most of those movies are actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it's not like most of them I'm not going out of my way to watch over and over again. And the big thing is that even though it's not technically a movie, I really wanted to get into this Tekken conversation because I binged the entire thing today. And I purposely binged it today so that it would be fresh for the cast. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
Okay. Well, before we do that, because I think we got somebody that's coming on that may have some insight that they want to share too. I want to get your if you have like 3 video game movies that you think were good.
Okay.
And see, so that way I'm going to get you like the good and then the bad. There's a lot of bad.
There's so much bad. Are we doing animated movies too for video games or just live action?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay. In that case, even though it's not a video game, it's still a game. Jumanji is actually going to be my number 1.
Okay. R.I.P. Robin Williams.
Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic movie, especially like to me, you can still watch it today and it hold up because you're acknowledging that none of this is real, but it's still a lot of fun. Like it's a good time. Number 2 is going to be the original Mortal Kombat movie, not this one they gave us, but the one from the 90s. I love that movie. And even for the effects that they had at the time, that one was actually pretty good. Annihilation doesn't exist, and I'll stand on that. I don't care who disagrees. And number 3, if we're gonna include the animated stuff, then Pokemon 2000.
Okay.
Pokemon 2000 is probably my favorite Pokemon movie, including the original one with Mewtwo. 2000 is still my favorite.
So how do you feel about the newer Jumanji movies with The Rock and Kevin Hart?
I don't hate them. I'm just not a fan. They're just kind of there. Like they don't move me one way or the other. Like I don't think that they're bad. I don't think that they're good. They're just kind of there. It's the kind of movie that I personally, if I'm on TV trying to find something to watch and it's on, I'm probably still going to be like, man, there's nothing worth watching. So it's not going to be something that moves it for me. But if I'm like at your house and you're like, oh, we're watching Jumanji, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is garbage. I'm going to sit and watch the movie. Maybe.
Well, we got somebody new that came in, the Husky Hukage himself, 1/3 of the Things People Don't Say podcast. Marcus, how you doing today?
I am doing good, actually. Just got out of class, so made it just in time.
Hey.
Man, I'm glad to have you. So if we're talking about video game movies, if you had 3 good video game movies, what would they be?
3 good video game movies. So first is going to be the very first Mortal Kombat for me.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat. I'm trying to think what else. I know a lot. I know they got mixed reviews. I don't. It's on because it's the most recent one I watched. The Uncharted movie was actually. I thought it was okay. I played through the first 3 games. I haven't finished. I haven't done the 4th one yet. It's my plan after I finish my class. One of the things I'm gonna start. But Uncharted movie and I'm trying to think. Maybe the Tomb Raider movie.
Which one? Because they had the one.
Now the Lara Croft movies were. I mean, they were interesting. They weren't like horrible or anything. I didn't think, but they were all right.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. Sorry,
Angelina Jolie. I was like, I got you.
But I think the newest one, I actually thought it was pretty good. It kind of went along with they rebooted the game as well, so it kind of went along with that, and I thought it was actually pretty good. Had his bumps in the road, but I thought it was pretty good. Those are I know, like I said, Mortal Kombat is always that first one. One that I would say one that I love, even though it's still, I think it's just a kind of a off movie, is the Street Fighter movie. Like I love that movie, even though it's kind of a good bad movie. It's so I would say Mortal Kombat, Tomb Raider, Uncharted.
Okay. Mine were so I had the first one that on my list was Mortal Kombat with everybody else. My second one was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. That one actually surprised me, man. Like, I was not expecting it to be as good as it was.
I forgot about Sonic. That's definitely should be up there. Yeah.
And then the other one is gonna sound weird, but I really liked Rampage. Like, they just had a lot of destruction going on, and so I thought it was pretty cool from that point.
I didn't actually see Rampage.
I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's one of those fun films. Like, it's got The Rock in it, of course. So you're not going for the story and the plot and all that other stuff. You're not going for that. You're going for the action and hoping that The Rock bottom somebody one time. That's every movie he in. I just want to see just rock bottom somebody one time for me. You ain't got to say it. You just you can do it and look at the camera like
I did it.
That's exactly. That's all. That's all I want. But
see, he did the rock bottom, I think, on Hobbs and Shaw, maybe, or maybe that was Roman Reigns. One of them did it.
It was a closed version of. I think it may have been.
Yeah, it was like a converted sphere looking thing. It wasn't quite the rock bottom.
Yeah, so
I remember getting real hyped, and I was like, "Wait a minute, y'all kind of." I guess, but all right.
So yeah, that was really, really. So those were my favorites. What was your least favorite? You got to give me 3 terrible. Video game movies.
The new Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Does anyone remember the Double movie?
Huh?
The what movie?
Double Dragon.
Oh no, that's
one
of my guilty pleasures, man. Oh god,
it's a bad.
It's not a good movie though.
It is.
I mean, it's like like a not a bad. It's the opposite. I guess like a good bad movie. It's good, but it's
exactly
horrible.
If you're gonna shit on my Mario pick, Double Dragon belongs right next to it.
I was definitely gonna take a big smoking poo on Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
I would probably watch Double Dragon. I would probably watch Double Dragon over Mario Brothers.
Here's the thing: you'll probably only watch it over it though, because you probably remember it better because it was more action in it.
Well, actually,
storyline wise, it wasn't better. Acting wise, it was not better. That movie is just as trash.
It is, and the only reason I would say I probably choose it over, I'm a fan of like Mark Dacascos, how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Like him being a martial artist and stuff like that. So I watched a lot of his movies, but him and I like John Leguizamo in Mario Brothers as well.
Yeah, he was a good Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say he was great. But for what Luigi was and the interpretation that we did not have versus what we have now, he was fine. Now he's a bad Luigi because they made Luigi a whole punk. But
and one of the most quoted, I ain't say quoted, but like one of the things I remember from that movie is he going to bail him out. What's your name? What's his name? Luigi Mario. What's your name? Mario. Like what? He had to tell the dude. I'm like, really?
Actually,
that's
no.
what they did?
No, I have to change my order. Number one is going to be, and I get that it's also an anime, but because they have games, I'm putting it in here because it deserves all the slander. Dragon Ball Z movie. I'm putting it in here because Dragon Ball Z has video games, and I refuse to not slander this movie. So,
Evolution.
Dragon Ball Z is going in there. I don't care. Argue with your mama. And then the Mortal Kombat movie, and then go ahead and give me Street Fighter or the Double Dragon.
So just a question on that. Since you're including that, what qualifies? How many games do you have to be qualified in this thing? Because I'm asking that because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have a plethora of games.
They do.
Batman has a plethora of games.
He does.
I mean, so you gotta, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take away your pick, but I'm just saying we gotta, if we doing that, I mean, you can include some other stuff.
So I'm fine with doing that, but I still feel like none of those were as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution, so I'm fine with that argument.
Those are more like license. Yeah, those are more licensing just because of the fact that like they may have had a movie come out and then they made a video game or they had a television show. So that may be that's a little bit different than like it primarily being known as a video game and then they made an adaptation of it to a movie.
Yeah.
So one of the things that what is it? They have a new Super Mario coming out where Chris Pratt is going to be Mario. So that one, yeah, I'm hoping he does well. You know what I mean? Because Mario needs to win.
He does. Speaking of new things that are coming out, and one of the Chris's, we went to see the Dragon Ball Z movie yesterday. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed myself, but the preview for Dungeons and Dragons, I'm interested in seeing this movie. Like, it looks cute. I want to see it. I understand that that's may not be what people want from a Dungeons and Dragons movie, but it looks like a good time. I'm
gonna watch it because I like the even once again another, I guess you could say guilty pleasure is the first Dragon Ball movie, not Dungeons and Dragons movie. They had like Marlon Wayans in it. I don't know if anybody remember that, but it's a Dungeons and Dragons movie. It had Marlon Wayans in it.
Never saw it.
Nope.
Yeah, it came out a while ago, but yeah, it was like I think right before he was in G.I. Joe.
Oh.
It may be in a little bit before that or around that same time. You know, he was getting those roles like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because this one's got Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez is in it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. I thought I was down when I saw the trailer and I figured out what it was. I like those, you know, type of fantasy type of things.
Are you talking about what Marcus is talking about or what I'm talking about? Which right? If you're talking about what I'm talking about, it's called Honor Amongst Thieves, and you know I don't know anything about this other than there's some dice involved.
They're doing like the actual, you know, going through like I guess a campaign, you can almost say, like it's like a story. And the same thing. The first one was like you was going through. It wasn't more so a campaign. It was more like it was in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and they were doing, you know, doing things or whatever. But they have several like movies. They've been in several Dungeons and Dragons movies. They've just been on Sci-Fi or something. You know, they came out on straight to TV movies.
Oh, okay, so straight to
yeah. The one that Marlon Wayans was in came out in the theater, but the ones after that were like straight to TV movies.
Okay, now I have something to look up and spend my time doing because I'm done.
Well, so I got a question for you. Where do you rank the Resident Evil movies?
I really liked the first one. I did not care as much for ones after that. That first one I loved. I thought it was very well done. Those movies, they're the sci-fi type movies, so I can do like sci-fi horror as long as we're not crossing certain lines. Like I don't like to be scared, and that movie didn't really scare me so much as I was just like, oh, y'all got a lot of stuff to kill. Like I would be scared in that scenario, but the movie itself didn't scare me.
Yo, why is it that every time somebody gets bit, that they try to hide the fact that they got bit, like something was going to change from that point?
Because I don't want to die.
But you're finna die anyway.
So it's like holding out hope, right? Because here's the thing: if I tell you that I got bit, you got to KO me right then and there. I don't get a chance to be saved. I don't get like that last minute hopeful redemption type stuff. Y'all gonna take me out the game. I don't want to die. So I'm gonna try to hold on that last bit of hope. Maybe not me, because first off, I would not be in that situation. Because I'm gonna tell y'all the straight up, honest to God truth. The minute that they say, "Hey, yo, the world has gone to hell and we got zombies," look, there are only so many bullets in a clip. One of them is for me, because I'm not doing none of that. That's too much work. Trying to survive that is too much work. I'm lazy.
Yeah, I'm not. When it comes to that, the live action are definitely better than the animated ones. The animated ones make me feel like they just had some B-roll from like the games, and they were like, hey, this is some backstory, or hey, this is a way to make some more money real quick.
Oh, you talking about? He said the live action. You saying the live action Resident Evil ones are better than the animated ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, the animated ones. The animated ones. Bad.
I actually like some of the animated ones. There was one, and that was one of them that was like just horrible. But I was gonna say compared to the so-called Netflix series that we just had. But the first two Resident Evil movies aren't cool for me. The other ones, or the extra ones, they were maybe, I don't know,
that's when they started to reach. That's when they started to reach, and then after that, they had to wait for like Resident Evil, the video games, to go to different locations, and they're like, "We're gonna steal those monsters. That's what we're gonna do." And so, yeah, they weren't great when they were doing that.
Yeah, they were just I don't know, just doing too much.
They had zombie crows or ravens. That's crazy, but. Let me see. I'm trying to look and see if there's any other ones that are really, because I have a list of some really, really bad ones. They had the Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li.
I know. They've had Tekken. They've had Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive was horrible. I remember that one. I was like, I want my money back.
See, I don't know. I think it's because I expect those movies to be bad that they're not all that bad to me. Like that Tekken movie that came out, I didn't think it was honestly all that bad. And Dead or Alive to me wasn't a fantastic movie, and I would never recommend it to someone to sit down and kill some time to watch. But also with that being said, like I did not go into a Dead or Alive movie expecting it to be good. I just expected it to be there and people getting punched in the throat.
Yep. So now we had mentioned Tekken. So like, and we had all seen. Well, Marcus, had you seen some of the Tekken?
I have not watched it yet. No.
Okay. All right. Well,
you have to leave because we're gonna spoil all of this.
I watch it. I still watch it. I ain't too.
Okay.
I mean,
so you're like me. Spoilers aren't a thing.
Well, so certain things. So the Tekken movie, the Tekken show, I'm not. I'll still watch it or whatever. So even with that, certain things like that, I'll be all right. Let's just now if it's an anime, I'm deep into it. Something like a movie that I'm just waiting on. Then I'll be a little. I don't want to hear that. So, but with this, I'm okay.
So Tekken Bloodlines to me followed like Tekken 3. So like it followed kind of that storyline when Jin was coming into his own. And so it was really, really, I thought it was really, really well done. The one thing that I really appreciated about it is like the fight scenes had the combos from the actual Street Fighter from the actual Street Fighter game. So you could be able to see that. The only thing that I was sad about was Heihachi didn't do a power bomb, but that was it. But it was really, really good. It reminded me of Street Fighter 2, where they had the opportunity where they had a whole lot of good fight scenes and things like that. But I think it kind of stuck more to the combos, which were really, really good from there. KB, how did you feel?
I actually really enjoyed the series more than I expected to. I think really I didn't have a whole lot of knocks against it other than where was Eddie? That
Yeah.
I understand that y'all gave us a black man, but y'all could have gave us more than one.
True.
And also, unless my memory is going, which that's a possibility, Eddie's in Tekken 3.
I think so. But they only did like a couple of people, and then they were also talking about how certain people were missing. So I understand that to a certain extent, because like they couldn't get everybody in there because it was a small ass tournament. Like it was literally about like 8 or 10 people.
It was, but I mean, if you're gonna give us Nina and not do nothing with her, you could have given me at least Eddie in the audience or something.
That's true.
I liked King. I loved his animation. I loved how fluid his moveset was. I loved the fact that he did his little DDT on that. Like I was very happy to see King in there. There was one fight where I was like, I don't think that should have actually played out that way. But all right, I guess. And then they quickly rectified it by then having that person lose in the most disrespectful way possible.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the really cool part, Marcus, like if you play Tekken, you know that King is he's a catch person. So a lot of the stuff, and then his combos keep going. And so that was what happened in a certain amount of these. They were just like, oh, okay, cool. And so then after that, somebody got their ass beat, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all.
He caught the arm, and I was like, oh no, flashbacks. I know what's getting ready to happen to you.
He did the mount, and then after that went to the arm bar. You know, normally they didn't finish the combo, because normally they go like, they catch you, do the dragon screw, you break the leg, then after that you move up to the front mount, you beat the shit out of them, and then after that you put them in the arm bar. So then after that they ain't got nothing else to do. They didn't complete the combo, but they did enough so that you was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. As soon as he wrapped up the back and did like that, I was like, oh, this is gonna hurt. So many flashbacks of trying to beat that man.
So it was a really, really good show. Like I could tell that it was meant to be a movie, but then they was like, let's just go ahead and stretch this shit out. And then after that, they just, rather than having like a director's cut or something like that, they was just like, let's just put all this shit in.
Yeah, and you could really tell that the people involved in this wanted to be involved in it. And that's the biggest thing for me, because sometimes you can tell when somebody don't want to be involved. Even in voice acting, you can tell when they tired and over it and they don't believe in the project, but they dare to get whatever they need to get from it. And this really was like, it felt like everybody, maybe they didn't enjoy what they were doing per se, but you could tell that they wanted to be on this project, and I loved it.
Yeah, I think my go-to when I was a kid, who was your go-to when you played?
Wrong and Eddie. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Eddie, button smash. No, I learned his combos.
Mine was Law. I was a button smasher though. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. You were going to get this flying sun kick all day and night.
Wrong was my dude, him and Eddie, because I like the speed characters and I like the characters that are more like heavy leg based, which is why I hated Steve, the boxer. I couldn't do nothing with him because all he doing is throwing hands, and I'm not. Listen, in real life, I'm throwing hands, but in games, give me the leg work.
Marcus, who did you play with in Tekken? You're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
When I did play Tekken, it was mostly Eddie and probably Jin when I played, but it wasn't like a whole lot of. I didn't play Tekken a whole lot. It wasn't like one of my go-to fighting games, but like I said, it'd be Eddie because like I said, I was a button match when I first started playing, so Eddie was like one of the easiest ones to pick up. So yeah.
You didn't know what you were doing with Eddie. Eddie would just do some shit. You'd be like, "Oh, I can do that too."
That's exactly it. Exactly it.
Hey, Steve.
So you were a beast with Eddie, huh, KB?
That's him and Haran. That's it. Anybody else? I'm probably going to be taking the L, but those two, I have a good chance. There is, however, one person that I could never beat. His name is Justin, and he used to whoop me like from one end of the house to I would get so angry. And the thing is like, you know how people will talk shit and you get mad? He wouldn't even talk. He would just look at you and be like, "Do you want to play again?" I will punch you for real. Get out of here. Like, I think it would have been better for me if he had at least talked shit. Then I would have been like justifiably angry. But I'm just angry because I'm ass compared to you, and this is terrible.
Yeah, I used to. I had to learn like combos, and then it was really really bad because I used to play with Jeremy, sir, and he was really really good with. He would actually practice with King, so then he would do those combos, and then after that he would be like, "Damn, I messed up with the combo. I dropped it after like 7 moves." I was like, "Oh, just 7? No, oh no, it's not just 7." You know what I'm saying? I still have my whole left side to still work on. So it was crazy though.
I do, and this is not. If you played Tekken, then you already know this, so this is not a spoiler or anything to the plot. One of the things that will amuse me until the end of time is the fact that Heihachi and Kazuya really just spent a whole bunch of the franchise just trying to out-evil each other.
Boy Black, what up?
Yeah.
Like they really just said, "Who's more evil? It's me," and that is basically the basis of the game. Is which one of y'all is the most trash?
I thought about this. Like, there's so many games and storylines that just have something to do with the fact that like one family fucks up the whole rest of the world. You know what I mean? If you look at like, say for instance, the Skywalkers, you know what I mean? Heihachi and his whole family, like everybody is then like, "Oh man, we really messed up." Like, we're at the whim of this one family and what they do and whether or not the world ends.
Speaking of video game franchises, Castlevania, their show.
Mm-hmm.
I love Castlevania.
I haven't finished it, but the part I'm at, but that it's really good. You know, I mean, it's really good.
It's so good.
They're gonna have they said they're coming out with a sequel to the Castlevania where it's going to be after the first generation where we left off at. So
yeah. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, what would be a franchise that you guys would want to see? And it doesn't have to be live action. It could be animated, because I do think video game movies, in my opinion, make for better shows or for better like animated movies. The live action gets a little, because I mean, like, you can't really have like your great actors are not about to take on these roles, because really the dialogue in a lot of these games ain't meant for that. They're just for you to get through the story by beating the game itself. So it doesn't require you to have, a fantastic actor in these roles. If you want to do it, that's perfectly fine, but it's not a necessity. And I think that's why the animated stuff works better, because also you can get into some of those moves that the average human being could never in their wildest dreams pull off. Right. So I kind of feel like the animated move is best. What would you guys like to see?
I'm trying to think. I wouldn't mind maybe a God of War movie.
That would be dope.
Or you could also throw a lot of Sony titles that have those because they're more so story driven. Definitely would work. Like I said, as a movie, maybe a series. I know they're doing a live action. Last of Us is coming. We the Halo series. Although it wasn't great, it was okay. I'm trying to think what else. What else we?
I just googled some top video games, and the one that came to mind right away would be like this one would have to be, in my mind, it would have to be an HBO. It'd have to be an HBO series, Red Dead Redemption, and then the other one that I thought about that I looked up is BioShock. I think that would be really cool to have.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like that, like BioShock. Maybe do like one of those. I know one of the like another horror game, like Dead Space, or yeah, you know they're doing a remake of Dead Space as far as a game, but yeah.
We're not gonna get that one, bro. They like to keep their bags separate.
Yeah.
I want to see Devil May Cry,
That would be good.
but I would.
They have an anime, but I would like to see.
I would love for the people who handled Castlevania to do Devil May Cry.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
God of War was on my list, and also Metal Gear Solid.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
doing that one too. Yeah, Oscar Isaac is going to play Snake.
I am interested.
There you go.
I am interested. I could be persuaded to check this out.
So I think he'll be alright as Snake. Like as long as they ain't put him in no purple suit, Oscar Isaac is the man.
Mm-hmm.
So we mentioned it was some video game movies we didn't mention that I was looking at some and I actually Prince of Persia.
It's trash.
Granted, it was, but it was for me it was a good bad movie. I didn't like Jake Gyllenhaal kind of was I wouldn't have chose him as for the lead, but I actually I like that movie.
Did anybody see the Assassin's Creed movies?
I saw the first one. It was alright.
I didn't even try with that one. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it.
The Need for Speed movie.
I didn't see that one either.
It's so let me just kind of, if you go into it expecting a like if you go into it like with medium expectations or maybe low expectations and just give it a chance, it's pretty good actually. Like if you go into it like you think it's gonna be another bad video game movie, and you sit there and watch it like, that was alright.
I always expect video game movies to be bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Unless it's animated, I expect the absolute worst. That way, I know for a fact that it really can't be that bad.
Yeah.
So I kind of give them all like a low bar. So you have to do minimal work to make me happy and want to see this movie. Mass Effect. I would love to see Mass Effect get. And again, I want a series, like an animated series. I don't want a live action because I feel like what y'all about to do. And I have never played a Mass Effect game myself. I'm not a gamer, but I love to watch people play the video games because I like the stories. And Mass Effect's story had me hooked. Like anytime that my roommate played, I was sitting right there, like, all right, where are we at? What's happening? And like I would be mad if he played without me because I really enjoyed it.
It's a good story. The Mass Effect trilogy. I'm playing through the first one, but the trilogy, I hear nothing but good things about for the most part. The Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy movie, not the first one, the Final Fantasy Advent Children. That was pretty good. Guys, remember the Doom movie? They had two of those, but the Doom movie.
Yeah.
Like I was, what else?
I'm trying to find. I had there was a movie that I watched, or it's actually a television show on Netflix, and I watched it like a while ago. It was really, really good. I'm trying to find it now, so that's why I'm kind of in the
Kinda
moment,
quiet.
but
Oh, well, Final Fantasy had a few. Yeah, I know Advent Children was pretty good, and Kingsglaive was also it was okay. Nothing but that first one, whatever that very first one was. I don't know why they even made that app. And I would like
Marcus,
to
you are
see,
very forgiving when it comes to movies.
so I grew up as an only child. A lot of times when I didn't have my cousins or my friends to play with, movies kept me company. So
You'd be like, it's all right. Like you'd be making excuses for the movie, and then after that, you'd be like, hey, it wasn't horrible. You know what I'm saying? They had some.
But if it's a horrible movie, I will tell you outright. To this day, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Spider-Man 3, horrible movie. Like I will tell you if it's a horrible movie. If I feel like it's a horrible movie, but
you're like a good friend and be like, listen, he messed up a little bit. However, you know what I'm saying?
Like
Let's
Marcus
talk about the good.
The guy that's like, somebody put work into this, so I don't want to say that it's necessarily bad, but that it could have been better. And hey, you tried. Like maybe your script wasn't all the way there, but at least you wrote it and you submitted it. And look, you're getting paid. Like Marcus is that guy. He's gonna hype you up, regardless of how ass it is.
Hey, so I found it on Netflix. It's called Arcane. He was really, really good. Like that was the one that they actually had it come out every week. And I was like, son of a bitch. Like, I really want to, because they kept having good stuff happen and bad stuff happen. It was like a really, and it's based off of like League of Legends. So so it was actually really, really good. So,
somebody help me out. MDK.
I'm trying to.
I remember the name. I can't, but I'm trying to remember the game.
All I can think of is Donkey Kong, and that M is throwing me off. So I know that's not it.
I just think of
it's like, is it a horror game? Was it a horror game?
I think of Demolition Man.
It's facts, man. Facts. It's facts.
It's all facts, and the fact that you like it is questionable.
I want to go back to my when we first asked me video game movies. My favorites is
I think of Murder Death Kill from Demolition Man when I see this.
It's Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Ooh,
that is a great movie.
I didn't know that was a video game.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a video game first.
I like it.
Speaking of
they actually re-released it not too long ago for like the newer consoles. Let me see if I can fake, because I know I've heard MDK. I remember the game. I just can't remember the okay, it was let me see if I can post.
Damn it, I got it.
Shooter with a dog with 4 arms, a generator, and a psychotic doctor. That sounds like a drug-filled nightmare.
That doesn't.
I remember the game. The dude head was like it was funny shape.
Yeah, I don't remember that one at all.
Let me see if I can do this. There we go. Yeah, it was on PlayStation. I remember that. I won't let me share it, but let me see if I can do this.
I'm trying to think of the other. I'm trying to think. There was another one I wanted, and I can't think of what it is.
Let's see if you can share. This is the game or whatever the.
Okay.
DK. Yeah, I remember seeing this on a box art, walk through Blockbuster or whatever. But yeah.
Okay. He got a big ass head though.
And
There's the dog with the forearms, and
Yeah.
because I was like,
I feel like that would end up on like sci-fi.
yeah.
That
Pam
would definitely
Stokes-
be a sci-fi channel game.
my mama was not having that one. She vetoed a lot of shit. Like if it wasn't happy and fun, bro, it was not going in the cart.
It wasn't gonna work. I barely got away with Mortal Kombat.
First time I saw Mortal Kombat, I was at the rec center. My parents didn't even know we had seen the game because I used to have to go there while they were working if our neighbor couldn't watch me. So I would go over there and they had Mortal Kombat and I was playing with them and I was like, oh, they're ripping people's heads off. And I was terrified, but I wanted to keep playing.
Man,
I got lucky and we had Mortal Kombat play. Like we got it one time. I snuck it past her because she didn't know what it was. After that, it was a no-go. Like she was like, did you just punch this man into some acid? See, the thing that had happened, Mama, was, and then yeah, it didn't go so far because I wasn't really good at lying, and you got to be good at lying, or at least coming up with something on the fly.
you got to be able to come up with something. You got to be quick on your feet.
Yeah, you got to be quicker than that.
Another game I would love to see. Do you guys remember Parasite Eve?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that as like a short on Netflix. Like it definitely shouldn't be a big budget thing, but for like a little kind of mini story type thing, like just 3 or 4 episodes, that would be lit.
I can see that. What's another one that I used to? I was trying to think of the games I enjoyed that would definitely be maybe movie worthy. Had a decent story. I think something that'll be fun that you can probably roll out with. Well, it's passing time now, like with zombies, with Dead Rising. You do like a comedy horror type thing, where it's it's you're killing zombies, but it's still because like the Dead Rising franchise is synonymous with allows you to put together crazy weapons and kill zombies with. So so I think something like that may be fun.
You know which one I think they're gonna give us that people probably don't actually want because it's not gonna be good? What's the one where you like the people be in the bunker and they got the little caps as their currency? It's got the little white man with the blonde hair. What's the name of that game franchise?
You're talking about Fallout. It's not Fallout, is it?
It is. Yes. I feel like somebody somewhere is gonna go. The people need and want a Fallout movie, and I think it would be awful.
Oh, Marcus. So I've been working on this for like 2 seconds. I wanted to show you because you had talked about Scott Pilgrim, and I have some t-shirts that are just coming out on the BlerdSyndicate.com.
Hey.
And so one is a Thanos shirt in the Scott Pilgrim
universe.
Mm-hmm. And then I have another one that's like a Spider-Man one where he's got all the people around there.
Those are dope.
So I thought about that, and so you can go to the BlerdSyndicate.com, and with the promo code with the BS, you get 20% off of those. So I got some more hot fire, as they say, coming out.
And the shirts are comfortable.
They are. I need to order me a new shirt so I can do a get ready with me video for it.
Man, so I actually upgraded the shirts to like a higher premium cotton blend. So then after that, they're even softer. I tried to do some more stuff around here. So check it out. Yes, Def Jam Vendetta would be amazing though.
It would.
So what other? So what was okay? We're not talking about video games because video games are going to be on Sunday,
right?
So we're going to have like a top 10 of video games. So when we do the drink and draw, that can be what we talk about from there. Okay.
So, movies, I would love to see if somebody could take. Well, hopefully they do it. I'm hoping they can retell the story the way, not retell it, but they can basically just take what they did in the game and put it in the movie. and I would love for Star Wars to do KOTOR. Like if they can just do KOTOR,
Yeah.
like I know what's gonna happen. I know who it is, but just do that. Give me that.
I think that'd be a good television series. So that you could be so you could be able to have some weekly episodics. You know what we didn't talk about that I thought wasn't a really bad, like I thought it was an okay movie, was Angry Birds.
Oh, yeah. Okay, kids movie.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
You got kids, you gotta go see it. Yeah.
I
Angry
saw
Birds.
it with the kids. It was alright. The Ratchet and Clank movie was okay.
So yeah, y'all tell us what movies you guys loved, what movies you guys hated, because we definitely want to get your input too. DJ or Def Jam Vendetta would be so good to have. I want them to actually make another like video game of that.
Yes, they need to re-release, reboot, or remake, whatever. They need to put another one out. I'm playing through all of them.
Definitely reboot it. I'm trying to think. I feel like movie wise, we need a Street Fighter reboot. I feel like give us the same energy and effects and cast design that you did the new Mortal Kombat, but give us someone who can actually write a script and the story and won't Mary sue us.
Oh, well, no, they got the same people doing Mortal Kombat 2.
I don't like that. I don't like that energy.
Yep. It was Jeremy's favorite movie. He said. He said that he loved it. He was so happy about Cole being like a descendant of Scorpion.
No. I like the smoke, but we're not doing this to the right hand. We're not gonna sit in here and lie on him, especially since I also hate that movie. I'm not having it. I'm gonna defend you for the one time. It's not gonna become a habit, but I'm gonna defend you tonight. He did not say those words. You will not put that lie on his spirit and his soul.
Well, you've got to come on Sunday to have him, defend himself. Detective Pikachu was pretty good.
I didn't see that one.
I think it would have been better if it was like a PG-13, or I could see, because Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds was good, but you wanted to hear him curse. He's one of those actors that are like, he just plays himself now, and then that's all that he does. Him and The Rock and Kevin Hart.
They do, and nobody is going to tell them anything else because they
make money doing it. They bring
in money doing the absolute least amount of work possible as far as acting actually goes. And why would you not take advantage of that?
And a hot take, I think Denzel Washington does it now too.
That's different. I feel like Denzel earned the right to.
I agree. He acted before, and now he doesn't act anymore. He just does he just does the Denzel and then just gets out.
Right, and I feel like that's a completely different thing. He earned the right to do that because Denzel been Denzeling for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because he's getting older. That's really what it is. At this point, I think that's all it is, really. Like you because Denzel got some. Lately, it's like, but Denzel has had some good low key fire movies. They don't get a lot of like I loved him in Deja Vu, Ricochet. That's an early Denzel movie. Love Ricochet. But yeah, he's earned the right to maybe not phone it in, but just kind of do the
coast.
Yeah,
coast.
So since we're here and we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We're already on the subject. Favorite Denzel movie?
Favorite Denzel movie? I'm trying to think. It's probably gonna be.
It's either Inside Man or Training Day. Just because it was so funny because Denzel had kept this level of sophistication, you know what I mean, about himself for the most part. And then he was like, he just went off. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that he was just tired of being like coming in second place, and he said that with his chest.
I can see it.
I hate that he had to be that to get like that. That was weird energy for me because they did the same thing with Halle Berry and Monster Ball. Like,
yeah,
we really couldn't be the best version of who we are for you to. All right, understood.
You know, Angela Bassett turned down that role.
Oh damn!
I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all.
I'm sorry. Just said that out loud.
Did it hurt?
I said that out loud.
You did.
I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble.
John Q is a good one.
But John Q, yeah, that's a really good one. Mine's probably gonna be old school Denzel. It's between I like more his action roles. It's probably between I like to say I loved him Ricochet, one of those early ones, but I don't want to go Training Day. Why I said Training Day, but
I mean, if that's what's in your heart,
I mean, if that's on your spirit, man, just go ahead and let it happen.
I go. One of my favorites, Man on Fire.
Bone Collector.
Ooh,
Yeah, that is a good one.
I love that movie. I
We'll
will
try to do a
also
series.
acknowledge that movie scared me.
hey, I
But
got a question.
Watched it anyway.
Why did they do an Equalizer with Queen Latifah?
Because they wanted I guess the TV version. They felt like they could make money off of it, so they was like, "Yo, let's do this," you know. And they went and got Queen Latifah. I can't say it's bad. I haven't watched it, so I can't really critique the show. But you know,
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've seen like maybe one episode, but I just like when they were like, "Hey, Queen Latifah as the Equalizer," and I'm like, "But so I guess is it now like a title? You know what I mean? Rather than just a okay."
I think that's what they're running, is that it's more the title for the type of job that you do.
Because you know it was a TV show back in the day before it became a movie, so it was. It's like I think it has something to do with how he times what he does or whatever the case may be. And I think that's part of it, but
I have this issue with giving people roles for things just because of the mood and the environment. I don't like this energy of giving women or giving people of color roles that you don't particularly care about.
I get that.
I feel that's why we have a woman equalizer, and that's why we have a black woman specifically doing it. Don't get me wrong. I think that people are probably enjoying it because they did renew it, so it's coming back. Somebody somewhere is liking it.
They like it. It's getting good reviews.
But let's not mistake this for anything more than what it was. They gave it to women to get in front or be a part of the movement for women, and that's what I don't like about it. It's the energy behind it. It doesn't seem genuine to me, and I don't care who you cast in the role. I don't care how much advertisement you pretend to do for it, because a lot of advertisement that I see for it isn't even on actual show. I see it on the internet. I see it on random Hulu ads, right? But if this were someone else in that role, I probably would have seen a blurb on whatever platform that's out on. You would see a little bit more of it, and that's kind of my thing with it. Is it's not. I feel like it's insincere.
Yeah, I feel like ever since the first Black Panther movie came out, then they were like, "Hey, black people really get behind something that's black oriented. Maybe we should do that." And so then after that, then they try to hit those check marks and those check those boxes, and I think sometimes that's unfortunate. Now I'm not saying that those actresses or actors are not qualified to have those things, but like they're doing it, I think, for a short run. So then, like, it'll be like maybe 3 or 4 years down the road, and they'll be like, "Oh darn, well, we're just not hitting the numbers like we want to do." But then you don't put the same kind of money in the backing that you would any other type of show.
Exactly. It's the energy behind it that I'm not feeling. Like, don't get me wrong. I am here for the MCU having more representation for women, for people of color, for LGBTQ community. Like, I'm for that, right? But that moment in Endgame, where they had that shot of just the women doing, that was so unnecessary. It did not make sense for them to do it the way they did it, because you easily could have highlighted all of those women in other shots. You didn't need that specific, and it felt phony. I didn't like it.
I think that was just I see what you're saying, but the only reason I think they did that or pull that together like that, it was a shot at the point in time. It was a comic book going around called, I think, A-Force or something like that, where it's basically like all the women, and then I think most of those women were in, or some of those women were in the comic or whatever. But I think they kind of pulled this shot together. But it could be, like you said, it was just trying to, hey, let's get a shot of all these women doing something. Hey, here it is. So,
but
right, it felt cheap.
Yeah, because like the two different things that I always compare is the first one with Infinity War, where it just happened to have them come together. They fought, and then after that, they were like, "Oh, well, she's not by herself." Like it felt more genuine in that situation. Versus at Endgame, it was just like she's not by herself, and like I'm all for them having that. I wish there was more Dora Milaje. Like I always think it's also that in Falcon and Winter Soldier that they like decompressed and took, deassembled Winter Soldier. So that was one of my favorite parts of the show. But anyways, I digress. I just still think like there's a way to do it naturally, to be able to have, say for instance, having Pepper save Tony, you know what I mean? And she'd be like, "Hey, I got your back," because you know how he's always trying to catch her. Do stuff like that makes it feel more genuine and more natural to the situation. Because in a battle, you're not gonna have just women all together huddled up. You know what I'm saying? They doing their own thing. They fight just like everybody else.
Right. It was forced as hell, and I wasn't feeling it. It didn't feel good. And a lot of people in turn hyped it up, and that's cool if that's what it was for you, but for me it just felt real flat and something. And I don't like that I felt that way, because I feel like the MCU really, at least now, tries to do a good job with making sure people are being represented, but that just was not the move for me.
And see, like this is what I was talking about. Like they had, I think around the same time, it's like 2015, 2016, something like that. So I think maybe this also had part to play in it, because this was like they had an all-female Avengers team called the A-Force. As you see, some of the members or whatever, like Captain Marvel's in there, Black Widow, Wasp. Of course, they had people that was not in the movies. But I'm just saying, like this, I think this may have been some little part to it as well. But
speaking of women's inclusion and their role and things like that, has anybody seen She-Hulk, the first episode?
Yes.
That one, it was so good. Like I loved the first episode of She-Hulk. Like it was the origin story really quickly, how she got to be where she wants. So then after that, you can get along with the rest of the story. And I'm really looking forward to the episode tomorrow or in a couple hours.
I'm looking forward to that one too.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna probably watch them this weekend. I watched both of them this weekend. Okay. I gotta finish Miss Marvel, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
I couldn't, bro. So I don't try to nitpick things, but you know what I mean? I try to see where other people may have like a point about something or can see that. Like with this one, I didn't see anything that you could really complain about. Like, you know what I mean? Like she does a really good job, and the story is really well told in that situation.
The biggest thing I see, because especially since my Facebook has been banned for right now, I'm really active on some other platforms, and I honestly do see a lot of folks complaining about Jen's conversation groups. And a lot of folks are arguing the point that she kind of, invalidated his experience with his anger and his rage and the way that he went through his trauma. And I was like, well, here's the thing. And this is why I feel like wording matters. Words have a set actual definition and meaning, and tone also matters here. And at no point did Jen ever say that Bruce's experience was wrong. At no point did she ever say I minimized, like she didn't minimize his experience, which is what a lot of people are saying she did. What she said is your experience does not apply to mine. They're different things, and therefore you cannot expect me to move and adhere to your trauma, which is 100% valid. They're a completely different set of circumstances here. And not only that, but speaking as a woman, her point is 100% valid. We deal with a lot more microaggression. And as Black folks, we also understand microaggressions in a different way than other people do. So Jen's point is 100% correct. Yes, I think it was Chris Rock said it, to be Black in America is to be angry all the time. To be a woman in America is to be angry all the time. Now, turn around, Jen's a different category for me, but turn around and apply that to a Black woman. Mm-hmm. And what is the character type that they always stick on women? No matter what your range is, you are always emotional. If I react in anger to the same situation that y'all would react in anger, is your point is going to be valid. People are going to listen to you. They're going to hear you. And very few people are going to say that you're overreacting or you're emotional unless it's a racial conversation. Then they want to put those boundaries in it. But as a man, you're allowed to speak your feelings and have your say when it's anger. And it's okay. But if I do that, I'm overreacting. I'm emotional. That was her point. Like, hey, I'm always angry. And because I'm always angry, I have a handle on it that you had to learn. I learned that from a way earlier age than you. Therefore, my control is different from yours.
That's a very good point. So, and the other thing that they, and of course they probably won't bring this up in the MCU, they say that like the reason why like Bruce has the anger issues and things like that he has going on is because like he has multiple personality disorder, they said. So that's why his person is like, because they said that he and I was just listening and reading over some of this stuff that apparently in the comic books, and I may be wrong, but they said that he witnessed his father beating his mother, and so therefore like it gave him like a complex, and so then that's why he gets so upset and angry, and then that's just bringing it out because of the fact that he's got those gamma waves. But it's not something that they really talk about as far as that's concerned.
I've seen that, and I feel like that was something they tried to go back and do later. Mm-hmm. Because for a long time, Hulk was pretty much just used to be angry. There wasn't a purpose to him other than that. And then they kind of finally went back and started actually developing Banner in the same way that they were developing other characters. And that's kind of, I don't think that was like a part of his story initially. I could be wrong. Yeah. It might have been something they just glossed over, but I think that's when they started trying to go back and add some depth to him. And they were like, well, it doesn't make sense for it to just be a result of the radiation, because they did not do the same thing with Jen, right? Mm-hmm. She did not have another person in her head. She was always in control of herself. She may not have been in control of the ability itself. Hey, I touched the desk a little too hard and it broke. Mm-hmm. But it was never a flying, angry, all the time type thing with her. And they kind of hinted on that in the comics where he was like, in the MCU, he's like, there's no voice. And she's like, no, there's not. That's not a spoiler because, again, it's in the comics. I got you, Marcus. But so I kind of appreciate like the layers that they're going through with how different they are.
Yeah. and just because you're like kind of KB, what you talked about, like we can see the same situation happen, but have two different experiences to it. So it's not necessarily that you see it this way, and I think that's a step that, or something that the people are kind of not seeing sometimes. Like you can be able to have the same experience. Like I think most of us have like siblings, so like you may get the same experience as like your brother or sister, and they may not get the same thing out of it that you got out of it. So it's definitely, it's a good show. I like it. I'm a little disappointed at the people who gave it like a low rating because they just don't like I don't know, I guess they don't like the character. I guess they don't like things that are different. But it's a really good show.
You can say it. Well, you can say it. It's they don't like to see women in shows, or they don't like women. That's I don't know. I didn't mean to they ain't say it like that, but it's like they like, you get such a lash out of just people, like you said, purposely bombing this show in the ratings because it's a woman character or whatever the case may be, and it's sad that stuff is like that.
I'm trying to think of this man's name, but his post went viral, and it was interesting to see because for every man that disagreed with him, there was literally like a 5-to-1 ratio where men were agreeing with him, and it was wild. And basically he was like, here comes the MCU, and they're going to emasculate men, and look what they did to Bruce, and this is like, I've seen a lot of people mad that Hulk never got his lick back after Thanos literally beat the green off of him.
Right.
And I feel
go ahead.
I feel as though like there has to be this acknowledgement that had to happen. Hulk could not stay the same after that, and if you expected him to, my brother and sisters in Christ, go to therapy, and then when you get there, stay. Find the right therapist, because that's important. Find one that actually works for what you need. But baby, you need to be there, because absolutely not. Like, growth and change happen. He got his face rocked. Are you really the same person after somebody caves your skull in? Are you really the same human being?
Look, man, I know some people that got their ass whooped and they found Jesus afterwards. They'd be like, listen, I don't even want to fight no more. I don't even
whole new person, baptized in the water.
Listen.
I might need therapy. Let me say this, and it's not, and I haven't watched the show, but I'm not gonna say that I don't expect growth or whatever the case may be, but like the fact that like Thanos beat the Hulk like ass and he never came back. Like we see him to the next movie, like, and when he came back, he was just like, "Hey everybody, hey, you want me to sign your autograph?" Like, it was like, okay, I get that. I get you're supposed to, you change, but also you look at the whole comics. He still, regardless of whatever may have happened, he hit that switch get flipped. He still turned into that raging, damn near unbeatable monster. You know what I'm saying? So, and
but it doesn't work. That's what I'm saying. Like, it works for comics because as a comic person, you don't expect depth from Hulk unless you really are like a Banner fan. And I'm not saying his comics don't have depth. I'm saying how they used him in the MCU. They did not use him as a depth character. So now that you're actually giving him the story and giving him body and weight, he cannot just be a rage monster that you point in the direction that you want him to go in. They did that in Ragnarok. Literally, when he was Hulk, you pointed him in the direction and he went with his fist flying. But in Infinity War and in that type of character serves no purpose. He would not have been there if that's all you left of him. He had to change in order to keep him a part of the MCU. Otherwise, there's no purpose to him. Because what is Hulk going to do with Kang the Conqueror? Nothing. but a Hulk that is at least intelligent and aware of himself, a Hulk that's integrated with Banner. Now we have some conversation because you have strength and you have actual tactic and awareness. Because Kang is coming with what, the 40th century innovation and tech. Banner has a brilliant mind. He's not Tony, he's not Shuri, but he ain't me. So there's lines and levels you can get out of that you couldn't get if Thanos didn't whoop the shit out of him.
Plus, the business aspect of it, they still don't own Hulk.
Yeah, they don't own none of his stuff.
I'm not gonna put all my money. I'm not gonna make sure your sales on Hulk merchandise is going up if I don't get a piece of it. So they're gonna nerf him a little bit just because of the fact that, like, hey, we can't really do anything, and we're not trying to raise your stock, but we're not trying to plummet it either, because we still need to use the character.
Right.
So, but it's good. I like She-Hulk. I like She-Hulk.
Have y'all heard the rumor with Miss Marvel, like specifically Carol Danvers' version?
Mm-mm.
So I don't know how valid it is, so nobody crucify me later because I fight back after my ban is up. But there is the rumor that since they now have the rights to the X-Men, we're finally going to get Rogue versus Miss Marvel.
Good.
They said, I heard that a while ago. They said Rogue was supposed to show up in the Marvels or something like that. So,
yep. And
go ahead,
I'm
snatch your ass up.
excited.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Rogue with Miss Marvel's power set is my favorite version of Rogue. And I hate the fact that she's been retconned for the most part, because she was damn near invulnerable, super strength. She wasn't the fastest thing running, but she was definitely faster than your average human being. We are talking not only like just a entity that could level buildings by sneezing, but also had the untouchable aspect of it, because you're taking all of that power set and then give me Cyclops' eye beams, give me Colossus's armor, whatever she touches. That version of Rogue is OP, and I think that's why they cut it back, because they made her crazy. They literally had to give her a mental breakdown in order to nuke her, because they didn't want to scale her with the rest of the mutants. And also, I know that they don't classify her as one, but being that she has the ability to steal anyone's power,
would she be Omega?
Right. Would she conceivably be an Omega level threat? That is a problem to me.
I think the only reason they may not characterize her as that is because, like, what's the chick name? She's a Summers, but she's not really a Summer.
Rachel? Rachel?
Yeah.
Like she can pick up other folks' powers when she's in the vicinity of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if she's just around you, she can pick up your powers and she can use it. And the thing about it is, hers like enhance and grow. Like she can use basically your powers better than you can. However, with Rogue, one, she has to touch you. Two, she doesn't. If she gets it, she can't control. Like, she doesn't. Of course, she doesn't have the full understanding of being able to control it once she gets it. Like Rachel can pick it up and be like, "Oh, okay, this is how you do it. I bet I can do this." You know what I'm saying? But Rogue, hers is more so, I have to touch you, and if I do touch you, I'm gonna damn near kill you in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually my point.
I get that.
She killing you. That's murder.
It's more like almost like Siler from Heroes.
Your power, she's absorbing your life. That is a problem.
It is.
Personally,
it is.
I'm going to die.
But there is a rumor also that Marvel can't do anything or recast X-Men
for till 2025.
Till 2025, and that's why we're supposedly that's why they're doing it like after. That's why I think they're gonna bring in the big mutant stuff after Secret Wars. And my hope is they do something with that, because what I don't want them to do is to act like mutants have always been here and they just been laying low. Like all of a sudden, like, boom, oh, it's Professor X. Hey man, where you been? I've been mentoring my kids in silence. Like just like I don't want that.
I think they'll have to do something where, like, say for instance, they'll have to have like a big world event where, like, you know how
incursions.
Okay, no, I'm gonna be quiet because you haven't finished Miss Marvel. So so yeah, I think there may just have to be a big world event.
I know I know something happens to Miss Marvel where she's so-called supposed to be a mutant. However, my thing is like I was discussing this or having the same thing I said about Black Panther. Like with what they've started with in this multiverse saga, you could easily, and with if spoiler if you haven't seen Doctor Strange, but at the end of Doctor Strange, when Clea comes out and it's like it's another incursion. If the incursion's going on, it's an easy way to bring in characters from those universes. Like I said, we can easily get another T'Challa from a different universe where his Wakanda is destroyed, and he can bring him over, and whatever case may be. It's like I just hope they don't do something.
I think they're gonna do it just kind of like the Inhumans. There's going to be some kind of Terrigen, mist, but then after that's what I think they're going to do. Because then after that, because then it doesn't have anything else, and then they have, say for instance, the same people being like, okay, well, these leaders now have these powers, and now they're trying to lead the new school.
I think. Now I will say I do think they're gonna go. It's gonna be a big push towards mutants once Secret Wars is over.
Yeah, they like this is this cash cow for us.
Like because we're getting. Go ahead, Kevin.
Oh no, I was just saying I agree 100%.
Oh yeah. They're going to. It's going to be a big push. But yeah, I heard that rumor a long time ago with Rogue was probably going to show up in the Marvels. Of course, the room. Well, I'm not going to say that spoilers. I'm saving it for when we talk about Black Panther, because I know this. I think Black Panther is the start of a war. It's not the war you think it is, but it's another war because of certain characters in there. But
chat, drop it in the chat.
In the private chat, yeah.
Drop it in the chat because I need that.
Well, we had a nice little conversation, y'all. We've been here in like an hour, almost 20 minutes. So I appreciate it. But what we want you to do, we talked about video games. We want you to be like Morgan Starkner. We want you, well, actually the Hulk. We want you to be like the Hulk. We want you to smash that follow and like and subscribe. And then we're going to be like Morgan Starkner. We're going to love you 3000. But until then, we want you to be like, we'll say Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. Who else we want to be? Not Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, F him. And we just want you to be just 2. Wee.